Hey you guys, who's ready to pop with Mama Sue? Today what we are doing in the kitchen, we're doing my most famous barbecued meatloaf. And the reason I say famous is because a lot of people's been asking me, how do I make my barbecue meatloaf? And how does it taste so good? Well, I got a tutorial for you today and I will show you how exactly I do it my way, okay? So first, the ingredients we will need, or what we'll be using, will be some molasses to make my sauce to go on top, some cayenne pepper, some brown sugar. You can either use light or dark brown sugar, whichever one. Some ketchup, that is to make the sauce. Those are the ingredients. Now to put into the meatloaf, you would use the onion mix, which is Lipton onion mix. I love this. I will be using some Worcestershire sauce, some breadcrumbs, and you can either use the plain or the Italian style, but to make it Mama Sue way, I use the Italian style breadcrumbs. Some black pepper, some salt, sea salt, garlic powder, thyme, and onion powder. And then also I use 4 large eggs. Now you can use 6 smaller or medium eggs, but I use 4 large eggs in my meatloaf and it comes out perfect. Well, also I'm going to use some onion and some bell pepper and celery. Those are my holy trio when it comes to meatloaf, okay? And the butter, I forgot, that I use with my sauce. Okay, so let's get started. First thing you want to do is wash all your vegetables nice and clean, and begin to slice them. I'm using my bell pepper that I'm going to be cutting first. And chip off a piece of it. And I showed you in my last video that the way you cut your bell peppers, there's no specific way, but right now I'm doing it like a small dice. And you want to get yourself a sharp knife to do it. Tuck your fingers in. Make sure you tuck your fingers in. And you don't want to lose any pieces in your vegetables. You don't want to do that. Okay, so you cut it up real small. Nice, simple, easy. Nothing hard in the kitchen. You hold the knife whichever way is comfortable for you to hold it. Just don't point it at yourself. Okay, almost done with cutting these bell peppers. I'm using 1 whole bell pepper. 1 whole bell pepper, okay? And the onion that I'm using is sweet yellow onion. There's different kinds. You can use whatever you prefer to use. I'm using the sweet onion because it reminds me of Vidalia onion. Actually, it is. And always getting a Vidalian, sweet Vidalian sauce. Okay, almost got that chopped up out of the way. I'm wearing my queen shirt today because it reminds me of how special I am, and to every other woman that should feel like a queen. That's queen. Especially I'm a queen of my kitchen. Okay, so that's cut and out of the way. I am going to do my onions. Just a little bit more. Hey, who's perfect in the kitchen? Okay. And then too, when it gets time to put this mixture inside of the meat itself, which I forgot to mention, ground beef is what I have, okay? You can mix it with turkey meat if you like, because if you want to get a little fancy. My simple way of making this meatloaf is with the ground beef. Everything being done in this kitchen is cooking with love. Okay, so cut that up. Okay, I'm just ease that to the side. So I have some cutting space on my cutting board. And I'm keeping it mixed up because I'm going to mix it up in the pan anyhow. Now, cutting a celery can be tricky. So what I do is cut it down the rib of the celery. Cut the ends off. Lay it flat. Get a flat plank. I cut it again in the middle. And that's all. I'm going to begin to cut them in smaller pieces. So, use this space over here. And once you cook these down, it's all going to get really soft. And the pieces, you know, just cut them as small as you can. Doesn't have to be micro small or anything like that. Just small diced pieces. So when you get ready to cook it down, it'll be nice and soft to go in the mixture.
Mommy, that's
Like this. Small. I don't know if you can see it.
Mommy, that's finished.
Alright, so we on this portion here. So you got your ground beef in your bowl. And what I'm doing right now, which I'll show you in a minute, I'm making a little well. And the reason I'm making this well is so that it'll be easy for me to incorporate all of my ingredients. Right now, I'm just going to add in my dry ingredients. So I'm going to start by adding in my Lipton packet, my Lipton onion packet. I'm using 1 packet. The box comes with 2, but I'm using 1 packet. And I'm going to add my onion powder. Oh, I'm supposed to show you the well. This is the well. You're just pressing the meat down and creating a little tunnel right there so that you can add all your ingredients just like you see me, adding it into the middle, and that way you can fold it over and start to mix it in real well. So now I'm adding in, you know Mama Sue do not measure, so I only season my food with love, okay? So I'm going to give you an estimate that I just shook in here, some onion powder that is a tablespoonful, okay? And some thyme. Thyme, I may use a half a tablespoonful. The garlic powder. I'm going to use a half a tablespoon because I don't want it to taste too garlicky, you know. The salt, I'm going to put some in my hands like I always do. Measure it out. Maybe it's a half a teaspoon of salt. Give or take, half teaspoon of salt. Okay. Now, do keep in mind that it's according to your taste bud. You're just following my guidelines to make my barbecue meatloaf, okay? So you can add as much seasoning as you like, but I advise you not to use too much salt because you don't want a salty meatloaf. Only because, you know, breadcrumbs and you got, you know, the sauce that you're making. Don't overpower it. Little will take you a longer ways too. Okay, so we're going to add in some black pepper. I'm measuring it by my hand, so that'll be about a half a teaspoon too. Okay, next up is my Worcestershire sauce. And I'm going to sprinkle a good bit in here so that this meatloaf can have its flavor. So I give or take, that's about maybe a tablespoon and a half. Now for my breadcrumbs, I don't have that much left in here, and I'm gonna estimate this is about a cup worth of breadcrumbs. Sprinkle that in there. And that's what I would normally use anyway, is about a cup of breadcrumbs. And now for my eggs. Since I already got all my dry ingredients in this bowl, I'm going to crack my 4 eggs. All right. Okay, and I'm going to squeeze about a tablespoon of ketchup. And that's about a tablespoon of ketchup inside this mixture. Okay, now we're going to begin to mix it in. Your hands have to be impeccably clean, okay? And before you start mixing. Or you can use gloves, whichever one. But this is my kitchen, so I'm using clean hands. I like the feel of meat, especially when it comes to mixing. Don't be afraid to mix. Mix real well. Let's see. Mix it for a good 3 minutes. 3 minutes tops to get it all incorporated in. Minutes tops. It's smelling good already. It's smelling good. Okay, so I'm going to show you as soon as I can take most of this off my head. This is how it should look. Nice and incorporated all together, okay? And I'll be right back. Okay, so this step we're going to saute these vegetables. So you're going to place your heat on a medium temperature, which is a 5 if you're using an electrical stove like I am. And make sure it's on 5. Now I'm gonna dump all these vegetables in here. You're gonna use like about a teaspoon and a half of oil. Vegetable oil is what I'm using. And you're gonna let these cook down for a good 3 minutes or so until it gets the onions get a little translucent, the bell peppers get softer, and the celery gets a little softer too. You don't have to add any seasoning to it, to your vegetables. Just cook it down to get it nice and soft. I got a couple of big pieces in here. But yeah, so you get it all nice and soft so you can incorporate it into the mixture of the meat. And don't forget, you guys, to preset your oven to 385. I'm going to let my meatloaf cook for about 45 minutes. And you can test it too with the internal thermometer in the middle of your meat to make sure that it's done. So I'm going to let that just cook down some. You guys, it's almost done. You can add about a tablespoon of water into this mixture just to get it sweat down some more in between your time of 1 minute to 3 minutes. And this is how it should be looking like. Nice and translucent. And the vegetables are soft. So when it goes into the oven, it's going to soften some more. I'll be right back. Alright, you guys, so we are finished with the vegetables like I told you, and we're going to make a well. We made a well and we're putting it in the center, and we're going to begin to mix that together. Then after that, we're going to mold it in the pan. Make sure you mix it in really well. Really, really well. Alright. Okay. Let me wash my hands. All right. Just had to get some of that off of my hands before I begin to mold it. Get yourself a nice little pan. And this is called freestyle molding. Okay, you guys? Freestyle molding. This is what I call it. I'm just freestyling. I don't have a mold or anything to make my shape. I'm just going to use my hand. And I'm flattening the meat. And now I'm going to bring it up by the sides. Bringing it in, and you can continue to mold it as much as you would like until it becomes the shape that you want it to become. Take and just mold it around the sides. You know, you can see it. Just gently patting it. Okay, now, like I said, while you're doing this, you got your oven preset at 385, and like I said, I'm going to cook this for 45 minutes. But, alright you guys, so we're going to do the sauce now. What we're going to do is put 2 tablespoons of the ketchup. A pinch of cayenne pepper, just a pinch. I put too much in my hand. We're going to use the rest of this molasses, and this is about a tablespoon of molasses. Get that molasses. Molasses move really, really slow. get it to come on out this bottle. Mama Sue measuring today when it comes to this molasses. You don't want to overpower it with the flavor of molasses. Okay. That's about a tablespoon. That molasses moved really, really slow. Okay. See how slow? All right. Get that right on out of there. Clean up my mess as I go. And time for the brown sugar. I'm using 1/3 of a cup of this brown sugar. That's that. Yep, exactly 1/3. Right in it goes. You might want to adjust the heat of the brown sugar. I mean, adjust the heat of the cayenne pepper, I'm sorry, to add it in there, incorporate it in there. And then don't forget the 2 tablespoons of melted butter. Put that right in there. Stir it up really good. And don't worry about having just a tad bit of the butter residue, just little pellet sizes. Don't worry about that. It's all good. Stir that on up. Take a little taste to make sure. Pretty good, y'all. But I think I'm gonna add just a little more heat to it. So I'll make it just another little tiny little pinch. Don't want to make it too spicy because I have children that's eating this. But they love the spice anyway. Stir that in really good. Nice stir, nice stir. And voila, that's your glaze. Your barbecue glaze. Slide that over. Now I'm going to just drizzle my first half on the raw meat right now. And then I'm going to add some more on top of it once it's almost finished till it's doneness, you know. Meaning when it's almost maybe 10-15 minutes before it's done. Okay? So keep watching. This is how it's looking, you guys. I'll be right back once I plate it. Hey, you guys. Here is the end result of the barbecue meatloaf. I hope you guys enjoy the recipe. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell any and everyone that you know that Popping with Mama Sue is off to his egg. I just had to do that. It's the old school throwback, you know. But anyway, thank you for joining me in my kitchen, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Keep watching. You want a bite? Yes. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. The video.
This is what I want right here. Perfect. Thank you. Perfect.
And we out with the short testimonial. See you guys.